Some cities feel alive the moment you arrive, filled with movement, noise, and the quiet reassurance that people belong there. Streets pulse with energy, lights spill from windows, and everything feels rooted in the present. But there are other cities, scattered across the world, that feel unsettling, where buildings still stand, roads still lead somewhere, yet something essential seems missing. These are cities where time seems to have slowed, where streets feel too empty, as if they've been waiting far longer than they should. Tonight, we travel through cities that look abandoned by time itself, places not forgotten, but simply waiting. In the Arizona desert stands Goldfield, a ghost town frozen in time. Its weathered buildings and empty streets tell stories of a once booming mining town, now silent and still. Wooden storefronts and faded signs remain, preserved as if the city chose to pause, not disappear. Walking here feels like stepping into a memory, untouched, unmoving, and hauntingly deliberate. High in southern Italy sits Craco, a city perched on a hill that looks like a stone skeleton against the sky. Once thriving, its narrow streets and stone houses now sit empty, slowly crumbling but never fully collapsing. Landslides and earthquakes forced residents to leave, yet the city remains, as if people simply stepped away and never returned. Windows stare over the valley, stairways lead nowhere, and churches stand silent, watching over a congregation that's gone. Craco feels less like a ghost town, and more like a paused civilization, frozen in a moment of departure. In the heart of Myanmar stands Naypyidaw, a vast capital city with highways so wide they seem unreal and government buildings spaced so far apart that the scale feels disorienting. It was built to be a symbol of power and progress, yet today it feels eerily empty, like a stage set without actors. Traffic lights change for cars that never arrive, massive intersections stretch across the landscape with no congestion, and neighborhoods feel carefully planned, but strangely lifeless. Everything here is new, clean, and operational, yet something fundamental is missing. Naypyidaw feels like a city designed for people who never showed up, a place where time moved forward without bringing life along with it. The emptiness is not caused by decay or disaster, but by absence, making it feel as though the city exists slightly ahead of the present, waiting for a future that keeps refusing to arrive. Hidden in Cambodia's jungle, Angkor is a vast ancient city reclaimed by nature. Trees and vines wrap around stone, slowly consuming the ruins. Once the heart of an empire, Angkor now belongs to the earth. Trees grow through walls and ceilings, holding the ruins together as they pull them apart. Walking here feels like stepping into a city surrendered to time and nature. In northern China lies Ordos, a city built during a time of rapid economic optimism, filled with towering apartment blocks, museums and public squares designed to house hundreds of thousands of people. Yet much of the city remains empty, its buildings standing tall but unoccupied. Streets stretch on without traffic, plazas echo with footsteps that rarely come, and entire neighborhoods feel like architectural models rather than places meant to be lived in. Ordos feels like a city that skipped a step in time, built too quickly for life to catch up. The emptiness does not feel temporary, but suspended, as if the city exists in a waiting state, unsure whether it belongs to the future or is already part of the past. In the mountains of Japan lies Hashima Island, once one of the most densely populated places on Earth, now completely empty. Concrete apartment blocks rise directly from the sea, their windows broken and interiors exposed, creating a skyline that feels both industrial and haunting. When the coal industry collapsed, residents left almost overnight, abandoning schools, homes, and streets to the ocean air. Despite decades of exposure, the buildings remain standing, refusing to fully surrender to decay. Hashima feels like a city that vanished rather than died, a place where life withdrew but left everything else behind. Standing there feels like arriving moments after an evacuation that somehow never officially ended. In North Korea lies Kaesong, a city that feels frozen between eras, its wide boulevards and monumental architecture carrying the weight of history and ideology. Life exists here, but it moves slowly and deliberately, as if every action is measured against the past. Buildings feel oversized, public spaces feel staged, and the atmosphere carries a sense of quiet observation. Nothing feels spontaneous, and nothing feels truly modern. Kaesong feels like a city preserved as an idea rather than allowed to evolve naturally, making it distant and timeless in an unsettling way. It is not empty, yet it feels untouched by the present, existing in a controlled moment that refuses to move forward. High in the mountains of Spain sits Albarracín, a city of narrow streets, ancient walls and buildings that lean toward each other as if sharing secrets. Modern life exists here, but it feels muted, carefully woven into a structure that belongs to another time. Walking through Albarracín feels like moving through layers of history that never fully replaced each other. The past is not hidden beneath the present, but stands openly beside it, unchanged. The city feels protected from time rather than abandoned by it, creating a sense that centuries have passed everywhere else while this place remained quietly untouched, watching the world change from a distance. In the heart of the Sahara lies Ghadames, an ancient city built to survive extreme heat and isolation. Its covered streets, thick walls and interconnected homes once sheltered generations, but today much of the city stands empty. The architecture remains remarkably intact, designed to protect life from the desert, yet life has largely moved elsewhere. Sunlight filters softly through openings in the roofs, illuminating spaces that feel carefully preserved rather than neglected. Ghadames feels like a city that learned how to outlast time, but not how to follow it, remaining behind as the world moved on. The silence here feels respectful, as if even the desert acknowledges what this place once was. Cities like these challenge the way we think about abandonment and time. They remind us that places do not always disappear when life leaves them, and that sometimes cities remain, waiting quietly, carrying their stories long after the people are gone. These cities are not ruins, and not relics, but something in between, existing in a suspended state where the past feels closer than the present. They stand as reminders that time does not move the same way everywhere, and that some places simply refuse to keep up. And somewhere out there, beyond the cities we know and recognize, there are more places like this. Cities that look like they were abandoned by time, still standing, still watching, and still waiting for something that may never come.